Everyone, and welcome back to the Ash Gracie
Powered by
podcast.
Riverside
Today, I
FM.
wanted to speak on burnout and how to navigate it in a way that is both healthy and productive. Unfortunately, for all the type A people like myself in this world, you can't always plan for when burnout is going to hit. When it comes to burnout, frankly, you have to listen to yourself as much as you can. Taking care of yourself is the most important thing, and letting yourself rest when your body and soul is telling you that you need to is even more important. In today's fast-paced world, burnout has become increasingly common. Some signs that you might be experiencing burnout include feeling constantly exhausted, losing interest in things you usually enjoy, and having trouble concentrating. So, some practical strategies that I think have been good for me to think about as I've navigated burnout that I wanted to share with you are the following. The first one is setting boundaries, learning to say no to additional commitments when you're already stretched thin. As overworked students, especially now during midterm season, this is not often easy, but being able to say no to things that do not serve you is going to make yourself so much better, especially for the future when you get into a point where you really need to know what you can and can't handle. As college students, now we have a little bit more flexibility on kind of learning through the mistakes that we're making and learning through overcommitting and overworking ourselves. But in the real world, post education, we need to be able to know what we are able to take on so that we can bring our best selves to our work. The second thing is to be able to create space for rest. A lot of people tend to time block or schedule their day meticulously. And as great as this is, downtime is something that should be scheduled, and there should be time dedicated each week to having downtime, just the same way you would schedule any other important appointment. The reasoning for this is because sometimes if it's not in your calendar or not in your plan for the week, it's just not going to happen. Sometimes you might think, yeah, the sleep that I'm getting in the evening is enough. It almost never is, especially for people who tend to overwork themselves and are busier naturally. The nature of that is that you're overworking yourself is going to affect the way that you take time for rest because you're not going to view it as important as any of the other productive stuff that you're doing. And that's not true. Rest is just as important, if not more important, than any of the other things that are going to be going on in your calendar. The third thing, which I think is very important, and this is not one I hear talked about a lot, but identifying your triggers. And these things don't need to be large things. They don't need to be big, complicated things that put you into a complete spiral. But just being more aware and paying more attention to the kinds of situations or responsibilities that you do that tend to drain you the most is going to be beneficial in terms of knowing how much you can handle and knowing if I have to do this particular task, I'm probably going to need to take it easy on other things this week. And knowing that about yourself, and as you kind of learn more about yourself and what you can and can't handle, will be very helpful in terms of being able to spot the signs earlier so that you know how to best take care of yourself, especially when things like burnout happen. So remember that dealing with burnout isn't about pushing through. That's often the worst ways to deal with burnout, but it's more about stepping back and reassessing what you're working on and whether it's too much. And sometimes the most productive thing that you can do for yourself is really to take a break and recalibrate. And on that note, I hope you are all doing well. It's a short episode today. And with that, don't forget you are amazing, you are loved, and I thank you for being here.